I started taking what seemed like a disadvantage, and I think most people let it linger as a disadvantage, and I found a way to mentally shift it. When you change your mindset on money, when you gain the capabilities, and when you take action, it is, in my opinion, you could disagree with me, in my opinion, money is easier to flow to you and make it than it is to save it. Where your attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, results get better. Need motivation? Watch a Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Top 10, I got a top 10. Got my motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like 9 to 9. For my top 10, top 10, 9 to 9. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Carmichael, and I make these videos because chances are you are the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Dean Graziosi, and my take on his top 10 rules for success. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Incorporate pain with pleasure.
Now, I wasn't writing down what's gonna go wrong in my life like before, and I wanted to go get therapy because I would literally was having anxiety about it. And I started writing down what could go right. And then I started, and this is something Tony teaches well, but I started projecting what my life would be. And this is like we move for pain and pleasure, and what I realize is, and I do this consciously now, that was subconscious, I didn't even know what I was doing.
Right.
But we make moves for pain and pleasure.
Right.
So why not incorporate both? Don't just set big goals. Think about if you don't move, where are you gonna be? So I started thinking, if I don't fix this, where am I gonna be in 5 years? And I started thinking, working for someone else, people calling me dreamer, like
mom and dad being right,
ego, like envy, jealousy, and like that felt like shit. And then I went over and said, but what would an ideal 5 years be? I started thinking, people going, wow, remember when that thing went wrong? Like I'm talking to you, it was terrible. Listen, I'd love to say, Omar, that moment I felt better and I just fixed it. Man, it still was shit for 6 months.
Right.
But I started writing down a compelling future. And the more I wrote down a compelling future and who the person I wanted to be, not the person I didn't want to be, man, I started catching fire. And I'm like, nothing's gonna stop me, right? So I started taking what seemed like a disadvantage, and I think most people let it linger as a disadvantage, and I found a way to mentally shift it. Now, I'd love to say I had it overnight, it was easy, none of that was, but was it worth it? Absolutely.
Right.
And then as soon as I got my head clear, I realized what helped me before was gaining new capabilities. So I started searching out people that almost went bankrupt, people that were taken advantage of, people that turned around companies. How do I get my new company thriving? And I started searching, that's why I obsess on masterminds and groups and trainings. Self-education changed my life. So I started finding people who already done it. I'd ask every older person with money I could find, hey, listen, I'm going through this, I really don't understand. And I got the best advice. I joined a mastermind group at the time.
Wow.
And I turned that around. I launched Think a Little Different, which was my real estate course. And literally that Think a Little Different course just soared. I paid off all the debt from the company I sold. And I want to say the rest is history, but then I had really great momentum.
Rule number 2, recognize the moments.
There are so many things you're striving for. That fancy green Lamborghini, the Rolex watch, that once you have it, your happiness will not go up consistently. You might get a buzz for a week. That's okay, buy it, but don't make the Rolex or the car or the house be the thing that you think once you're there, you have arrived. No, it's the moments in between. And when I say that, I'm digressing, I'm sharing a lot in this one podcast, as I look back on my life right now, I know that I raced a lot of my life. When I get to 1 million, oh my God, I want to get to 2 million. Oh my God, I want to get to 50 million. Oh my God, I want to get to 100 million bucks. Oh my God, we went to this vacation spot. What's the first thing we're doing? Oh, this was fun. What's the next thing? I was always looking to what's next. I wish someone would have told me this message and shared it then. What am I spending my money on, and what moments should I be enjoying to slow down and recognize now? This weekend, I went away with my kids, and I took them fly fishing. And in the old days, I'd drive to a spot, try, no fish, race as fast as I can because the next one could be better than the next one. You know what I did this weekend? We got to a spot and my kids were just happy. They were playing and I was noticing they didn't give a shit about catching fish. They loved the moment, the experience. And I just sat there and we fished for like 2 hours in one spot, did not catch a fish and had the best time of our lives because we enjoyed the moment in between, right? I had guides. I cut the check for guides. That was important to me. I wanted my kids to learn how to fish from some people that were a pro, how to know where to cast, how to catch the fish, how to take them off the hook. I mean, I fished my whole life, but I wanted pros to show them how to really fish. I'll pay for education. I'll pay to go faster. But I realized even if we took a helicopter and did all that fancy stuff, the moment in between was the experience of being there with my kids in the mountains with a perfect lake and them learning how to cast. And that was worth $100 million to me.
Rule number 3, stop being conservative.
We've all been told that money doesn't grow on trees. And what that is we feel that money is scarce, or in fact, we live in a fear that it's gonna run out or gonna vanish. And we know that money doesn't vanish. Money's not going away. There's the same amount of money, if not more, around the world than there's ever been. It's not getting smaller. Think about that. Like, really think what I just said. Money is not shrinking, right? In fact, this year in America alone, and I've said the stats, a lot of you have heard this, but because it boggles my mind, that there's 1,700 new millionaires being created every day in America. Think about that, 1,700 new millionaires every single day in America. Is that 80, doing the math? Like every hour, every, I mean, it's crazy, right? So think about that. And I took some notes here. So instead of the question, and this is one I really want you to think about. What happens is when we think about money is scarce and it doesn't go on trees and we have this feeling that it's getting shrinking and it's going away, what we ask ourselves is this: how do I protect myself? How do I save this money? How do I make sure no one takes what I have? And that mindset keeps you on the sidelines. I want you to say, what about asking yourself a different question? Because here's the thing, if money doesn't disappear, if we know it's the same amount or more, can we agree on that? If it's not disappearing, then all it is money is moving from one group of people to another group of people. Same amount of money. If there's still, let's say there's $100 and you're moving it around amongst a bunch of people, it's just who's getting the chunk of it. There's still $100. The same sum total is there. It's just moving differently. So the question you should be asking yourself is not how do I hold on to what I have? How do I make sure I don't lose any of this? How do I make sure, I keep the lights off at night? I'm not saying you shouldn't be conservative. What I'm saying is instead of having that mindset, what we should be saying is how do I become the person? And this is one, write this down. I hope you're paying attention here today, guys. I hope you're not playing with social media, looking around, try to focus on this, because the question should be, how do I become the person where the money is moving to rather than away from? Right? Just the same thought process, just a different shift. Instead of thinking money is scarce and it's going away, no, there's 1,700 new millionaires a day in America alone being created right now. Money's not getting scarce. It's just those people, money is flowing to them, and somebody else who's standing there trying to protect themselves and thinking a scarce mindset, their money is slowly going away. Now, I am surely not going to be an advocate or say that you shouldn't be conservative, that you shouldn't save money, that you shouldn't be smart with your money. Of course you should. But here's what I know. In the evolution of my life of going from that kid living in a bathroom with my dad and not having money and all those things, and I'm not saying that to give you my pitch or my story, but when I look back at when I tried to save and be conservative because I listened to, maybe grandparents that went through the Depression, or listened to people that, was like, you're crazy. What I realize is when you change your mindset on money, when you gain the capabilities, and when you take action, it is, in my opinion, you could disagree with me, in my opinion, money is easier to flow to you and make it than it is to save it. I even look at that in my business. I'll be like, hey, let's tighten up on expenses. And I'll look through all these things like, okay, if we tighten up all those, because we're such a big company now, we could save this much. But if I write a new book, if I start a new campaign, if I do some more real estate deals, I can bring in this much with the same amount of effort. Like, save this much or just make this much. How the hell with it? Keep everybody there, keep the lights on. I'm gonna go make it over here. Now, I might be an extreme, but I'd like to give you a little bit of that. that if we stand on the sidelines envying those making more, being not jealous, but like desiring what other people have, but we're afraid because we want to hold on to what we have and be afraid to take action.
Rule number 4, take care of yourself.
Remember what I said about that Indian proverb, a man with his health has a million wishes, and a man without his health has but one. I don't care how successful you get, how much money you make, how much love you have in your life. Without health, we have anything. We have nothing. And I see it, just this little inconvenience. Imagine if your health is stripped away. If you're going through something in the health world, I'm sorry. I send you my love, my prayers, my empathy. And if you're not, don't take it for granted. Without our health, life, nothing else matters. So get up, make better decisions this week to eat, make better decisions on sleep, make better decisions on exercise. We only have one body. Whether you believe in God, the universe, whatever you believe in, we were given this one body, this one unique DNA, this one chance to thrive. Make all the money in the world, find all the abundance, happiness, and joy, but take care of you along the way. So what's up, man? It's good to see you. I see you all over the place. I see you hustling. I see you impacting lives, doing amazing stuff on YouTube. I want to share whatever works for, your following, my following today. But I want to share, dude, your book, Built to Serve. You are built to serve. There's a difference when, I've been an entrepreneur for over 30 years. I've been in the self-education industry for 24. Doesn't even seem possible. But there's a lot of people that when you kind of meet your heroes or you meet the people behind the book, a habits book, a built to serve book, a time management. It's like you meet the guy with the time management book and he's late getting on stage and stressed out of his mind in the green room. Like there's no congruency is what I wanted to say. And before we chat today, I just want to honor you and give you congruency. What you wrote in this book is really who you are, man. You are built to serve. You reach out to my team all the time and want to help with YouTube and tell us what we're doing wrong. And you're not doing it because of finances. You're not doing it because you're trying to get an edge. You're doing it just because this is who you are, man. So I love seeing you out there. I love seeing you grow. I love seeing the impact you're making.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. I'm still working on accepting compliments. So I'll just say thank you.
Oh, then I'm going to keep doing it through this entire thing to make you feel uncomfortable.
Oh, great. Classic Dean. All right, cool. Well, also in that story, you've been really helpful in getting that book out. I remember when I came to Puerto Rico and was trying to get feedback on pre-launch, you and Brendan Burchard took time backstage while you're doing your big event. People paid all this money to come there, and you took time over lunch for 40 minutes to do a deep dive on my strategy. And just super grateful that you guys did that. And you hooked me up with your warehouse and, a whole bunch of things that Dean's a big reason why the book has got out there.
Just a little piece, man. Just what's up, everybody. I see the highs. So listen, appreciate everybody. I see all the cool comments coming in. So how can we deliver some value today? How do we help out? Besides, I do got to plug this. Like if you didn't check out Evan's Built to Serve, you should check it out. The truth is, I'm not all the way done. I freaking love it. My biggest problem is every book I read, Evan, I listen. I have such a hard time reading. I still have dyslexia. It still doesn't stick. So it's taken me longer. But when I actually read a book, it sticks. So highly recommend it. And it's just you. It's like it's having a 200-page conversation with you, which is always cool.
Cool, man. Appreciate it. Well, I also have an audiobook version. I read it myself. So there's always.
Oh, dude, please send that to me.
Rule number 5, create a framework.
Here's the thing. If you're going through a really tough time right now, it's like, it's hard to go, oh, this is for me. I'm going to be so much better.
It's going to be a blessing in 20 years.
Yeah, it's like, no, you don't. But that process I told you, if you have to watch this video or listen to this audio again, that process is what I use today because my businesses and companies are thriving right now. My book just passed 600,000 copies. We're on fire. Like,
man.
Every part is going. Tony Robbins and I are launching a company. My buddy Brendan Burchard and I own growth.com. That company is crushing. We have all these different things going on. But I'm not naive enough to think, Omar, I promise you, I'll be going through some kind of fest in the next 3 to 5 years. It just happens. They change a regulation. Something goes wrong. A publisher that owes you money goes bankrupt. Like, these things happen.
Yeah, it's part of the business, yeah.
And the more you go through it, the more you're like, I got this. What's coming next? And the more you create a framework, I didn't have a framework. I looked back in retrospect, how did I get through all those things? And I did have a framework. Now I know it. It's like, okay, something goes wrong. There was a situation in my life, I didn't plan it. Okay, I got to deal with it. I could stack the negative or I could stack the positive. I could focus on what goes wrong, focus on what goes right. I can focus on who I want to be, who I don't want to be. I can create my compelling future. I can go out and obsess and gain capabilities. And then after I gain the capabilities, you got to do the most important thing. You have to have courage. You have to jump out of the plane and grow wings on the way down. And that's the hardest thing.
Rule number 6, surround yourself with growth.
Surround yourself with growth mindsets wherever you can, with growth people, with growth videos. When I say growth, it's just like the things that make you feel better about yourself, the things that make you push forward, the things that make you realize failure is a part of success, the things that make you realize, yes, you can do this. There is a next level. Screw what everybody else says. You got this in you. You are strong enough. You are good enough. And simultaneously, why don't we just think about the universe or God being these other people and just, even if they don't support you, that's fine. Be nice. Treat everybody as the way you'd want to be treated, even if they treat you, because your focus should be on you, your next level of you, your bigger version of you, more money, time, energy, effort. All right, that's my message for today. I got pushed hard this morning, and Trent simultaneously did a video saying I pushed him. Wow. Surround yourself with people who push you, who care about you. And if you don't have a lot of that in your life, that's understandable. I get it. Then find it online.
Rule number 7, get your priorities in check.
If your goal is to start your own business, but your priority is, even if you don't realize it, is to spend 3 hours a day on social media just wasting time, or to binge on Netflix episodes because you want to make sure you watch every single one. I'm not saying any of that's bad, but don't confuse priorities. If you say you want to lose weight, but it's a priority to you to eat what you want when you want because you're stressed, because you deserve it, because you work hard, well then stop lying to yourself. Your priority is eating what you want when you want, and you're never going to lose weight. If you say you want to start your own business, but your priority is to be scared and work for a boss that's draining your life, or your priority is, I just need to make enough to pay the bills every month. I'm not saying that's bad, but don't confuse and feel conflicted when it truly is a conflict. So what I'd love to say today, and I literally am doing this exercise, and I do this probably quarterly, unless I forget, and then I was reminded today, is I want to see what the priorities in my life are. I want you to get your priorities in check, and don't think you have to make it perfect today. Today, you should just start saying, where am I spending attention? Because where attention goes, life flows. And things will get better. If you're paying attention, if you're focusing on, if your priority is eating too much food, you will get really good at it. If your priority is smoking cigars, you could get really good at it and know all this. But is it healthy for you? I don't know. Priority of getting good at gambling. I don't know. I'm making shit up. Okay. My whole point is, check the difference between what you think you want, what you think your priorities are, what your priorities, what you know in your gut should be, compared to where you're actually spending your time, because where your attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, results get better. And results can get better in the wrong direction.
Rule number 8, visualize goals.
What I'd love for you to think about is not just writing down a goal, but what if you wrote down goals when it comes up to the New Year's, or you could start early like I do, and actually think about it and pretend. I use the word pretend in the subject line or the header, is because what if you pretended you were actually living it? Now, again, you've heard of manifestation, you've heard of visualization. Let's just use the simple word pretend so we actually do it. What if you just took the next couple days and 5 minutes a day, you looked at your goals and you pretended it was a year from now, and you closed your eyes, and as hard as you could, as best as you could visualize actually seeing it, right? So we know this. Listen, we know this with sports. Do you know what they say? Michael Jordan visualized that he made 10,000 foul shots when he was just sitting in bed and when just thinking about it. We know athletes who visualize themselves getting a gold medal at the Olympics when they were 5 years old. We know baseball players that were visualizing signing baseball cards for other kids when they were 10 and 11 years old. Visualization allows your subconscious to be prepared for the success that you're going to achieve. If we visualize, if we think too much on what could go wrong, how it could never work, that you weren't dealt the right hand, that the economy's not right, that the president's not right, that your wife or your husband doesn't support you, that it's the wrong time of year, the wrong part of life, that I'm too old, I'm too young, young, I'm not rich enough, I'm not smart enough. If you visualize that, that's exactly what you get. You know that, right? So what I want to share today, these two things about visualization and pretending, is if you're going to write goals, take 2 times a day, 5 minutes a day, 10 times a day. And as hard as it is sometimes when you're going through stress, sometimes when you're worried, sometimes when life's not going the direction you want, it's like, I can't even picture my life that way. The hell with that. Screw that. Force yourself to visualize. Close your eyes and think, it's a year from now. What does it look like to be at my ideal weight? What does it look like or feel like? What does the house look like? What does my car look like? What do I look like when I look in the mirror, when I'm making the money I want to make, when I started my own business, when I'm not dealing with a crazy boss anymore, when my wife got to retire, my kids have money stashed away, I have put money in my retirement account. Visualize and pretend. Your brain doesn't know the difference. Again, everything I'm sharing with you, you guys already know. I just want to be your reminder service. Your brain doesn't know the difference of when you're actually doing it or when you're thinking it. Your body, your psychology, your physiology. When you feel it, when you pretend, your body thinks it happens. So what's it do? Your success leaves clues. And your subconscious, which is significantly smarter than your conscious mind, starts looking for a way to solve it, to make it a consistent reality.
Rule number 9, upgrade your capabilities.
Once you learn new capabilities, you had to trust Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins or Wayne Dyer. You had to trust what they say is, holy shit, this is going to make me a better man. This is going to get me through this. And that's hard for some people. So after you go through that and you gain new capabilities at a mastermind, a book, a mentor, a trainer, a consultant, you have to take that and go, okay, this guy was, or this woman was qualified enough to give me that. I got to go do it blindly. Because you're at that point, you have to realize, and this is one thing I try to do all the time because I want to grow, is our best thinking got us to this place. Our best thinking got you in that chair. Whatever you did, you went with my team. My team was like, Omar's a badass, you got to do this interview. Your best thinking got you there. But it's going to take new thinking and new capabilities to go where you want to go.
Right.
Is this where you want to end?
No.
You got
Yes,
a lot
sir.
more aspirations. You're going to here, right?
Absolutely.
But the thinking you have today won't take you there. It only got you here, which is not bad. But we always want to upgrade that thinking, upgrade our capabilities. That's why I'm obsessed with learning from other people. That's why I just got back from masterminding.
And rule number 10, the last one before a very special bonus clip, is be grateful.
How do you get through a hard day?
Ooh, how do you get through a hard day? Those never end either. Hard days stick around forever. So some days, most days you want to go to school. Today you happen not to be at school. Oh, I hope your teachers aren't watching live. We might be in trouble. I was just away for a week. She gets 2 days a year she can skip school. And today she decided to come to work with Dad. I'll take it. We can catch up on homework over the weekend. But how do you get through a tough day? As you grow up, it's going to be easier for people to say, and it's true, oh, just be grateful for what you have. Just be happy you're not in another situation or things aren't worse for you. And the truth is, that works, but when you're having a bad day, it's hard to focus on it. So all I know is when you're having a bad day, it's because of what's going on in here. You're thinking about the things that could go wrong. You're thinking about the worst case scenario. And when I'm having a bad day, the truth is you and your little brother, Brody, are the thing that gets me out of it. I stop and I realize that my thinking has me in this rhythm of being in a bad mood or something's going wrong, and I just stop. And I say, how grateful am I to have 2 amazing children? How grateful am I of the things, the people I've touched, the books I've written, and where I've come from? And I do flood myself with being grateful. I just think of all the great things going on in my life, and I don't stop. I just keep going, I keep going, I keep going, and I don't stop until I feel better, and it stops that thinking. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So be the manager of your thoughts and then flood yourself with gratitude.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video, and what is your plan of action for the next week? The science says that when you just watch a video, you get motivated, you get inspired, you have a 35% chance of actually doing something and following through. That, Believe Nation, is not enough. 35% is not enough. We got to do something. But when you get inspired by watching a video like this, and then you create a plan of action, your chances of following through jump to 91%. And when you commit publicly, like putting your comment down below with your plan, it jumps to 95%. That's what I want for you. I want you to take action. Your dreams are too important. Your life matters. Your mission has to happen. So, question of the day, your biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week, put it down in the comments below, and I'm going to celebrate alongside with you.
How do you create an income that's not disrupted by technology or not disrupted by an economy, and make it so your future proof when it comes to your ability to make money. So for example, I've used this. So was Blockbuster future-proof? No. When digital came out, it was over. Was, regular cameras, Kodak invented the digital camera, but we're foolish enough to say, no, we're in the printing business and nobody will want digital cameras. Have you ever even heard of a Kodak camera lately? They invented the digital camera. They invented the photography business. They're gone. Taxi drivers, you would think they were future-proof. They've been around forever. Uber comes along. You wouldn't want to be a taxi driver now, right? Because it was disruptive technology. But now I'm living here in Scottsdale and there's 100 Uber cars driving around without anybody in them, right? They're going driverless within 5 years. That means 1 million Uber drivers are going to lose their business. So I want you to think of that word as you evolve, as you advance. If you're going to choose a new business, a new path, a new strategy, try to look through the eyes of disruptive technology. My good friend Peter Diamandis, who wrote the book Abundance, got that word in my head, disruptive technology. That's what everybody's looking for in Silicon Valley and everywhere. How do I come in and disrupt the technology, something that's been there forever? I break it and no longer exists. iTunes broke the system. Amazon broke the system. So when I look at ways for me, I'm not Amazon, I'm not Google, I'm not Facebook. So how do I make more money and protect myself? When I look through those glasses, I look at things that are future-proof. Real estate to me, if you're one of my real estate students, everyone is always going to need and want a place to live. Real estate will always be there. It's the alternative to the stock market for investors. There's always people that need to rent because they can't buy. And then there's people that need to buy. There's always people that are going to diversify their portfolio with buy and holds. To me, real estate is future-proof. And when you know the strategies I know, you make money on the way up and the way down. So of course that's one. And if you're one of my real estate students, why I want to empower you and keep going. I'm just giving you examples here. I'm not pitching a real estate product right now. If you want to investigate real estate, let me know. You can direct message us here, and one of my team will send you a free link to some stuff, right? So, but I'm not selling here today. I think if you know the stock market, if you know the options market, I don't really well. I know people recently that are really smart, do well in it. One of the gentlemen in my 100K group, John Carter, he knows options. He's killing it in options. I'm investigating. I'm learning more of that right now, but that's not my forte. But I think stocks and options, because he tells me on the way up, on the way down, amazing strategies for both. That's future-proof to me. Making money online, to me, Amazon, through social media, Instagram, Facebook. Last week, and I'm not in any way, but I've generated millions of dollars online. Selling information, right? We're going into the information age.
If you want 10 more amazing rules from Dean Graziosi, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
I want to be on the field, even if I'm losing, at least I'm fighting for what I want. So don't wear someone else's jersey. Get in the arena and fail. Like, you can't win unless you're in it.